In the late 1800s, a doctor, a family, and a town dug up a dead girl, opened her chest, and burned her heart. Welcome to Episode 2, The New England Vampire Pandemic. It is March 1892, on a cold hillside in Exeter, Rhode Island. 6 men are opening a grave that was closed only a few weeks ago. Inside is a 19-year-old named Mercy Brown, dead 2 months, but with no decomposition. A man leans in, cuts open her chest, and finds fresh blood still in the heart. So they cut the heart out and burn it on a flat stone. These are not fools. One of them is the town doctor. They believe, with good reason, that this dead girl has been killing her family. To understand why, you have to forget what you know. For 100 years, something had been emptying the farmhouses of New England. It brought no fever, no rash, and came on slowly. A healthy person would start to cough, then grow thin, then gray. They called it consumption because it consumed you. And no doctor anywhere in the world knew what caused it. But everyone knew the pattern, and the pattern is what terrified them. It did not strike a town at random. It moved through one family at a time. First, the mother, her grave barely settled. Then the next child, and the next, always the same house. As if the first to die was reaching back, pulling the rest down after her. And the living began to whisper a darker answer, that one of the dead had not stayed dead, that it rose in the night to feed, draining the life from the family it left behind, one by one. A thing we would now call a vampire. And in these hills, people believed it completely. So if you cannot fight a thing, you fight what you can reach, the grave. To stop the dying, you had to find the body that was feeding and destroy it. 1788. A minister named Justus Forward in Massachusetts. He had buried 3 daughters to the sickness. A careful, Yale-educated man, not one for superstition. And 2 more of his children were beginning to cough. So one July morning, he opened his daughter's grave himself. She had been buried almost 6 years. He wrote down what he saw. The lungs, he wrote, were not dissolved, but had blood in them, far nearer a state of soundness than could be expected. He cut out the lungs and the liver and buried them apart. 30 years later, in Vermont, it happened in daylight. A 20-year-old college student, Frederick Ransom, died of the same affliction. His father feared the boy would come back for the others. So he had him dug up, and his heart burned on a blacksmith's forge. And in some towns, hundreds of neighbors gathered to watch. This was not one strange family. It was a whole culture. Which brings us back to Mercy Brown and that cold hillside. Her mother died first, then her older sister, Mary Olive. For years, the rest were spared. Then Mercy began to cough. And so did her brother, Edwin. They came to Mercy's father, George, and asked to open the graves. George thought it was madness. He did not believe a word of it. But his son was dying in front of him, and he gave in. They opened 3 graves: the mother, the sister, and Mercy. The mother and sister were, as the dead should be, bone and dust. But Mercy was not, said. And when the doctor opened her, the blood in her heart ran red. To everyone standing at that grave, it was proof. Except every piece of that proof was wrong. Start with the body that would not rot. Mercy died in January, the ground frozen too hard to dig. So she was never buried. She was left in a stone crypt, above ground. For 2 months, she lay in what was basically a freezer. A body kept that cold does not decay, and its blood can stay liquid. Then the pattern, the family dying in order. This part was real. But there was no vampire. Nothing ever rose from that grave. The families had never even used that word. It came later, from newspapers and outsiders. The thing moving through those families was alive, just far too small to see. It was the smallest foe imaginable. A single bacterium we now call tuberculosis. One cough in a sealed winter cabin, and the whole family breathed it in. That is why it moved in order. Not a curse, contagion. Not the undead, just the unseen. It is easy to laugh at people who burned hearts by lamplight. But they were not fighting superstition. They were fighting something real. What superstitions do you fight today? Drop a comment below and perhaps we can solve your mystery. And if this strange case interests you, please hit the like button to support my channel. The people on that hillside were not haunted by the dead. They were haunted by something too small to see and too big to stop. This strange case file is closed and the truth remains. See you at the next one.